This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Hurlers. Jeff Goodard, welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, April 2nd, in the year 1990, one of the greatest blowouts in NCAA basketball history happened in the final. Usually you don't see many games go to a 30-point or more blowout, but this happened at the national title game. It was like, what the heck is going on? So anyway, we're in Denver, Colorado. UNLV taking on Duke. UNLV were the 1 seed out of the West, and Duke was the 3 seed out of the East. They were meeting in the final, and it was going to be huge for them. The Duke Blue Devils were a team that never won an NCAA title. And this was the 4th time in 5 years they were in the Final Four, and the 4th time in history that they would be in the championship game. They lost in 64, 78, and 86. So now they were trying to get a title for the first time. UNLV was always there, but they were looking to be a 1 seed. So anyway, Duke was the 3 seed in the East. They took on number 14 Richmond, crushing them, narrowly beating St. John's, the 6th seed. Well, St. John's, New York. Beat UCLA, the 7th seed, 90-81. And then on the famous last-second shot by Christian Laettner in the East Regional Final in New Jersey against UConn, who were the 1 seed, they scored the winning basket. UConn got into the Elite 8 because they beat Clemson on a last-second shot, and then Duke did it to UConn. He who lives by the last-second shot dies by the last-second shot. And unfortunately for me, Duke took care of Arkansas. Of course, I was 5 years old at the time and didn't really enjoy college basketball. But the fact of the matter is they took out Arkansas. Fuck! Anyway, UNLV, 1990 Rebels. They were the 1 seed in the West. They crushed Arkansas Little Rock by 30 points. They took care of Ohio State by 11. They actually had a 2-point win, only a 2-point win over Ball State. Ball State, can you imagine they get to the quarterfinals? And then they took on Loyola Marymount, the Cinderella and the darlings of the NCAA tournament in 1990 because, Hank Gathers died. In the West Coast Conference tournament, Loyola was given the spot. They decided to play. Hank Gathers would shoot his first free throw left-handed in honor of Hank Gathers. And they got all the way to the Elite 8, but UNLV crushed them by 30 points. UNLV would have a tough time with Georgia Tech, only winning by 9. But as is, it's Duke UNLV. Starting lineups for Duke were Phil Henderson, Bobby Hurley, Robert Brickey, Christian Laettner, and Ala Abdelnaby. UNLV had Greg Anthony, that analyst, Anderson Hunt, Stacey Ogman, Larry Johnson, or Grandmama, as I stated in a birthday boy I did last month, and David Butler. So, Duke was hoping to hold UNLV flat because UNLV did have a fast-paced game and all that. The Rebels were up 4-0. And at the media timeout, UNLV was up 11-6. But then Duke could not do anything. And after UNLV was up by 13, Billy Packer, the analyst, the couple commentators said, Jerry Tarkanian's towel is under his seat. He's getting comfortable right now. Because he would always bite a towel when things got nervous. UNLV at the break was up 47-35. No big deal, 12 points. I mean, anything can happen. But Duke had troubles. Christian Laettner fouled for the 3rd time, which wasn't good. Larry Johnson put up a 3-pointer, and it was basically huge. In fact, the Rebels made it a big lead. They actually had an 18-0 run to go up by 28, 75-47. The Rebels had the fast break and all that. Larry Johnson put up 22 points, 11 rebounds in the final, and Anderson Hunt, who was named MVP of the tournament, put up 29 points on 12 of 16 shooting. UNLV coasted to the 103-73 win at McNichols. Not a bad performance by Phil Henderson and Christian Leitner. They both did pretty good. Henderson 21 points, Leitner 15 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds. But Bobby Hurley could only score 2 points. Robert Brickey only put up 4. Abdenabi put up 14, but you know. The reserves: Brian Davis, Greg Kubek, Billy McCaffrey, Thomas Hill. Played Buckley, Crawford Palmer, and Joe Cook. Couldn't do anything. Meanwhile, UNLV, Greg Anthony put up 13.6 assists, Anderson Hunt 29 points, Stevie all the way 12.7 assists, Larry Johnson 22 points, 11 rebounds. David Butler only had 4 points, but it didn't matter. The bench was fine. Moses Scurry, Barry Young, Stacey Sivanovic, Travis Bice, James Jones, Chris Jeter, and Dave Rice all got their names onto the score sheet. And this was huge. CBS had the tournament, as always. Brett Musberger and Billy Packer were on the call. But this would actually be the last event Musberger would do for CBS. They let his contract run out. And Brett Musberger was off CBS. Fortunately for him, ABC was interested in him, and Musberger went to ABC to become the college football voice and some college basketball games when ABC had college basketball. So Musberger, that was the last time he did something for CBS. He was a legend. UNLV's 30-point margin of victory is still a tournament record. And this is the only time in history that the championship game had a team score 100 points. I mean, you only played 2 20-minute halves, 40 minutes. In fact, UNLV is the last non-power conference team to do so. The power conferences, like for 2023, is the American, the ACC, well, the Atlantic Coast, Big East, Big 10, Big 12, Pac 12, and SEC. So those are the big 7. There is a possibility of, well, the 2023 national championship game at the time of this taping will have a non-power conference finalists for sure. Florida Atlantic plays in the Conference USA, and San Diego State plays in Mountain West. They'll be placing either Miami from the ACC or UConn from the Big East. So yeah, that'd be huge. So as of this taping, UNLV is the last one, but it could change. And the last team before UNLV to win from a non-power conference was Marquette, 1977, when they were an independent. UNLV would have a 45-game winning streak in between these 2 years. That streak would actually be snapped by Duke in the Final Four. 79-77, one of the biggest upsets of all time. Of course, the problem with the UNLV team is that after the title game, a few years later, it was found out that there were players who had improper payments and all that. So UNLV was supposed to be expelled from the tournament, but they were given a chance to defend. No, they were. I think this was after they won the title, and then they basically were told that they could defend their title, but then after that, they would have to serve a 1-year postseason ban. So that's the way it was in 1990. And that's the way it was for UNLV. Gotta love Grandmama. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond, I do.